Welcome to the Bullits and Bourbon podcast, where it's not about the bourbon, but more about who you share it with.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bullits and Bourbon, episode 54. And, it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, sure.
My days right. I don't know, man. After this last Friday that we had, celebrating Craig's birthday, I'm a little bit twisted still. So that was a long weekend. A lot longer for you,
we
huh?
won't forget Rita and Connor.
Yeah,
Rita's birthday.
You blew
Sunday.
the hardest on the cake. So, we all knew that, though.
It's a good weekend, but I think my liver possibly has a PFA out on me or a lawsuit.
How messed up the next day were you, Dan?
Oh, I was hurting. Everybody knew it in the podcast. They were like, you were hurting.
Yeah.
They were like, you did not want to do the podcast. You were hurting.
Yeah, we were, that was painful. What didn't make any sense is we woke up Saturday morning and we kind of we had about a pot and a half of coffee between us?
Yeah, and some donuts.
Yeah. Did you come over for that? I can't remember.
Yeah, he came over after we were done with the coffee and started drinking at like 8 a.m.
8 a.m. He comes over. So Craig comes over and he's like, "Oh, let's get going. Let's get warmed up." And he pours a drink. It's like 8:30 in the morning, and I think you poured it. I smelled it.
10:30.
I don't know, man.
No, it was 10:30 when we came down to do the podcast. So
Yeah.
we were upstairs watching a little European football first.
I smelled the whiskey, and it's one of the few times that when you smell, I love whiskey, but when I smelled it, I was like, remember when you were in Korea and you would smell anything alcohol the morning after?
Oh, yeah.
And you would just be like, you dry heave? I was like, oh God, here it comes. And you're pouring away. You didn't have
that
anything.
sounds like most people after a P. Diddy party. oh God.
We are at the age now where
We can't do that.
Ate a little too much chili, and you're like, oh, and I got a rumble in the belly, and you're like, I think I watched Dan sit there Friday night for 2 hours, not even touching his pour. He was over he was over like a 34-week pregnant woman. I'm done.
Wanted dill pickles and ice cream.
Yeah.
And there's something. So we get so hungry, and we know we have to eat on Friday night when we do this.
Chili's the worst idea.
Yeah, the chili, and it was so good, but the moment that you had it, it was like, oh shit! And you try to drink again, and everything was mixing together.
It was like a science experiment you don't want to happen.
But it was some good.
That's all I could feel. I was like, oh, which end is it coming out?
It was good chili though.
That's good chili.
Smoked chuck roast pot chili. It was good. It was really good. Right? Just validate me. Fuck, man, just validate me.
That's good.
I hate you both. Right. I hate you both. So Saturday morning. Now, what didn't make any sense was then Sunday, I got this wild idea. I called these two knuckleheads up and I was like, hey, you guys want to come over for a quick pour? Kids' soccer game's done. It's a beautiful day. The sun's shining, a little bit of that fall air. He didn't want to. I'm going to go spend time with my family.
Hey, Sunday dinner. Can't miss
Sunday
it.
dinner. And so Craig comes over. We had a couple pours, pretty innocent. And then Jennifer and I continued to drink until about 10 at night. And then we realized we didn't have dinner. And we both stood up and looked at each other and we went, oh no. We knew that was not how you're supposed to start a week off. So I don't remember what I ate. I think I had wheat thins. It was pretty pathetic.
There's nothing thin about what you eat. I just want to throw that out there. Wheat thins my ass.
You should have had wheat air.
That's not funny. That hurts my feelings, man. I have feelings. I have emotions. I hate you both.
The bad part I was sitting here having that pour was when you asked me if I want to have another pour, I wanted to, but I knew my son, he just went to Subway, picked up a hot Italian, some extra mayo, Italian dressing.
Picked up a hot Italian, huh?
Yeah. But I went home.
With that hot Italian.
I hosed all 12 inches.
I bet you did.
Yeah, I did.
And I bet you didn't pay $5 for it. I bet you paid like $12.
And I woke up the next day, my gut was hurting so bad, and I'm like, oh, God.
Did you have double meat?
No.
I can't do Subway anymore. I don't know why. Subway, their sandwiches have gone down since 99.
Down. They gone down.
Oh, well,
the quality of the meat is just shit, man. Pure shit.
You got to go to the one here in Peters, man.
The big thing is they don't do a good toast on, a good hot sub coming in fresh hot off the griddle, like a Blackstone type top.
You know who does? Quiznos. They need to bring back Quiznos.
Quiznos was a king. God, you remember in San Antonio outside the gate? There was a Quiznos next to the video store there.
Yep.
And that's where everybody used to
You
go.
go there, get your Quiznos sandwich and your Sobe.
Yep. Go get your Sobe, your Quiznos, and then go to the video store and get your
rental for the weekend.
Rental for the weekend. Yeah, man, that was the day. So,
what'd y'all rent? Brokeback Mountain?
That's not funny.
Y'all watch that together, huh?
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah, so Monday was struggle bus at work. Monday all day. I looked at Jennifer in the morning and she's like, I don't feel too good. I'm like, yeah, no shit. And we hit them chicken biscuits at Chick-fil-A. No, I didn't do anything, man. Headache all day, dude. Headache all day. So, yeah, I was kind of like, I was worried. What's going to happen Tuesday? How am I going to feel? Well, I feel good. And, we drink whiskey. That's what we do. And tonight, for our whiskey heavy, episode, which is what our midweek episodes usually are, Dan had quite a treat he brought over.
Yeah, finally, after like a month waiting for it.
I think it's longer than a month.
Finally came in. And I can't pronounce it, so why don't you go ahead and pronounce this beautiful...
I'm going to mess it up now.
Manzanera
cask. And I probably just butchered that. But
both of us, I'm sure.
Yeah. So basically Manzanera is a wood that comes from Japan. Yes. Shocker. And this is their cast finish. And one that they released very, very recently. And if you didn't know, Dan is an enormous chicken cock fan. And we have all become chicken cock fans as well, because quite frankly, what they put out has been very, very good.
Out a good product.
Yeah. I mean, we are partial to the Red Stave. And so this was a new one for us. And, we had a pre-podcast pour because it's always good to make sure that you're lubricated the right way. Right, Craig? Don't act dumb.
I mean, as you see, we already put a pretty good dent in this bottle.
Yeah. So all right, here we go. Let's do our quick review on it. Give us your thoughts, Dan. I mean, this is your baby.
I mean, there's not much on the nose. You get that alcohol smell, so I really can't pick at anything. You don't get an oaky smell like you would with a normal whiskey. There's a scent in there I cannot pick at, but maybe citrus.
I want to say like there was allspice. It was all, that, like when you get into the winter season and you start baking in the kitchen, that allspice scent is what I picked up.
I'm single. I don't bake good.
You're over here enough where you get baked goods.
Not while it's cooking. I get the after product.
That is true. We need to remedy that shit. Craig, what do you think? Nose.
I think there's a spice to it though. I question because I've never smelt the Manzanero. However you pronounce it.
Manzanero.
It's not like
none of us can say it. We're both idiots.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have three degenerates trying to pronounce it though. It's not like an Amberana wood where you can just be like, oh, okay, I can tell that note. This note is something brand new to me. I can't quite pick up on it though.
Yes.
And on the palate though too, it's to me is almost, it's not oaky. I would almost say it's like a wood finish, but it's not oaky. It's something that different. Tastes like, but it's not a bad finish. So it's a light finish on the palate. It's a light hug though. I think it's a good pour. For the same price point as a Red Stave,
I would go with the Red Stave.
Absolutely, but for aesthetically pleasing, oh god,
Chicken
Cock knocked it out of the park
with the 10s every time.
Yeah.
So I mean, gorgeous bottle, but I can't, from my palate, I can't quite get to the 215, 220 price point.
Yeah,
for it,
I think with that Red Stave, that made it a lot harder once you have something like that.
It is because your expectations, and it's our palate though too. So this could be, people could love this a lot more than Red Stave.
Yeah,
but the Red Stave was definitely one of more of our go-tos.
Well, for me, this is still very, very enjoyable. I mean, this is something I'm very glad I bought. No regrets whatsoever. On the palate, I get like a lot of spices, which is usually what you get with a chicken cock product. You get a lot of those nice spices.
So one of the things that I did when we were outside and we were having you two were having the same kind of issues identifying the notes, is I went and I read a bit more about the Mizara cask, and they are you get a lot higher complex notes to it. So they are a lot harder to figure out than a normal oak or a Red Stave or an Amberana or, a port, the other finishes on there. It tends to smooth the whiskey out a little bit more. and make it a touch sweeter, which is not something that I think that we're normally used to when we have the higher proof whiskeys or the other things we like the red stave. The red stave is very like kind of boom in your face with flavor, right? The nose is really present. The palate is really kind of identifiable, and the finish is just kind of easy. You can, it's a medium hug, or it's a strong hug, depending on where you fell with that. This has got a little bit more of it smooths it out almost. I get those baking spices, almost like the wintry spice. I don't know if that's a thing, but I just associate it with like the winter cooking spices and vanilla beans.
I do pick out vanilla.
Yeah, I get the vanilla beans. I get graham crackers. I don't know. Graham crackers are not a note that usually pops out for me in most whiskey. Other guys will say they can pick it out all the time. And I normally don't. Probably because it's usually what I've had graham crackers. It's been a s'more. Oh God, chocolate drizzle all over it, Mark. You know what I'm saying? So
everything reverts back to food.
It does. It really does for me. It all reverts back to food. So, but I get the graham cracker spice for it. It to me, it is very complex. It was a challenge for my palate to really grab anything. Now, I will say this. I know that you guys are huge Red Stave fans, and I am too. The nose, I get those baking spices. The palate, I get this graham cracker. I get the vanilla bean. I get a touch of toffee. The finish to me is so smooth that you could really do damage to this bottle very quickly.
Yeah.
It doesn't hug at all.
So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is because it's so smooth.
Yeah.
That for us, it's kind of $220 price point though. The Red Stave though was so much explosion on your palate though. To me, this is not that explosion. It's smooth. It's good. There's a lot of things that are good out there though that I'm like, I can't quite get to the 220 price point.
I think it's like you look at the Wild Turkey. We had the Wild Turkey Voyage, and that was by far one of the best ones we've had to date, I would say, on my list. Then we tried the Triumph, and we had high expectations after the Voyage. It fell flat because we were just, with the Voyage, it was packed full of that flavor, silky smooth, and you didn't get that with the Triumph.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at here. It's still phenomenal, but because of the Red Stave, we want better.
No, I don't disagree.
Equal.
I always equate it to the movies like John Wick. First John Wick, was not expecting what I saw, and when you see this first movie, you have no expectations.
Wait. Are you saying that John Wick 2 is not as good as John Wick 1?
Dude, when you don't know what's coming in John Wick 1 and you see John Wick 1 killed his puppy dog. Oh, John Wick 1 did not see that coming.
Come on, no. John Wick 2, though, he faces off with Common, bro.
No. You didn't see it coming.
Stop. Come on. What's wrong with you?
No, there's very few sequels that are better than the original.
When you don't see it coming is what I'm saying. When you don't see it coming and when you...
So what about John Wick 3? Halle Berry and the dogs? You can't tell me.
I didn't... It's like they tried too hard.
Halle Berry?
What was the name?
Holla. You caught me.
Idiot.
All right, but we know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
When you have zero expectation,
Don't
we
know
didn't
what you're about to
expect
dive
out of the
into.
Red Stave. And we're like, oh my God. And then you have that expectation a second time. It's a lot to live up to, though.
I will say this, and that's a valid point. I will say this, though, between what we had with the Voyage and Triumph, the Voyage was just so damn good, right? The Triumph just ended up being like, meh, right? It didn't really hit for any of us. This, though, is so drastically different that I do enjoy it. And it is good. It's almost like super mellow and smooth.
Oh.
I would say it almost drinks like a scotch.
Yeah,
It's the best way I can put it.
I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do enjoy it. This would go really well with almost any cigar, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's just the Red Stave. When you had the Red Stave, and it's like, wow, this is
We got
pretty damn
the
good.
Chanticleer.
It would be interesting if we could hit rewind before the Red Stave and then try this.
Yeah.
And what we might think now.
Well, I think we're at a point where we get the Chanticleer and we do
a blind sometime.
Yeah, we blind the tin editions, because we have almost all of the chicken cocks. Chicken cock, do you hear me?
Still not sponsored.
Still not sponsored.
Dan
for this guy
Taylor,
over here.
still not sponsored.
Yeah, he's losing hope. He gets real down and depressed. He wakes up. He's hugging the tin. Got chicken cock all over himself. I've been good. I have been good. I have restrained myself.
Hey, we all got our favorites.
We do.
I won't.
This has grown. Listen, chicken cock has grown on me as far as brands that I really enjoy. I mean, your top 3 brands, go. Top 3 brands without thinking about it, go.
Chicken cock, Bardstown, Liberty Pole.
Your top 3 brands, go.
Oh, Jesus. Liberty Pole. God dang it. Penelope, because of the Rios, what takes it for me. And, oh, God. I don't know. I have to think about it. You hit me so fast, though. I'm not sure.
You're a degenerate. I will not.
There's so much good out there. Oh, God, it's so.
Yeah, I know. I'm not allowed to mention Liberty Pole in my top 3 anymore because everybody knows where it falls. So Liberty Pole being up here, my top 3 are Bardstown, Jim Beam, Booker's especially, and Bardstown Bourbon Company. And did I say Bardstown?
Yeah.
I said I'm sorry, Bardstown, Booker's, and chicken cock has crawled into the top 3 as far as like variety of what's available.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I'm not saying that my favorite all-time whiskey is any one of those 3 because that's really hard. But as far as brands go that have like a variety of stuff that I'm like, you're going to look at your collection. You're like, you know what? It's going to be a Bardstown night. Yeah. Or it's going to be a Jim Beam night, or it's going to be a Wild Turkey night.
Well, the Bardstown Silver Oak was amazing last week when we tried. You mentioned Jim Beam.
Booker's or Little Book.
Jim Beam is so diverse, so complex to me because there's so much to it, though. The Knob Creek. Today I was just in Fine Wine Good Spirits. Guy walks in there and he said, I was in uniform still, and he said, "Hey, Sarge, what do you recommend?" I was like, "Well, I got some Knob Creek 18 up there, though. That's a great pour, though."
Where was it you found the 18? Which one?
Robinson. But
son of a bitch.
But he doesn't tell anybody.
Does he text us and say, "Hey, there's Knob Creek 18"?
It's not a.
Listen, I'm missing. I have one.
So this is not a knock on Jim Beam at all, but here in Pennsylvania, it was $169 plus tax. I remember I just recently bought a little book for $199 plus tax in Ohio. And a buddy sent me a picture. California. Little Book Infinite. $161 plus tax. And I'm like, oh my God.
You know how much I spent on my Little Book? Why don't you tell them how much I spent?
We're not going back down this road.
How much I spent on my Little Book? $12.
Not enough.
$12.
Not enough, though.
That's right.
So I get all fired up when I see Pennsylvania charging us $200 some, and then another state, it's $40, $50 cheaper than
He's big mad now.
That happens.
Anyway, but Knob Creek 18, I was at saw that today at Fine Wine Good Spirits, and I was salivating a little bit. It's like, that's a good pour.
I think that Chicken Cock has done an excellent job, along with Bardstown Bourbon Company, at positioning themselves and just having so much variety in different kind of creative ways, right? I can get double cask, I can get the rye, I can get the Caribbean rye, I can get the private select, I can get
Field Ethos,
the Field Ethos, the Chantilly, the Red Stave, the
Cotton Club.
The Cotton Club. There are just so many. And I mean, listen, there is something just absolutely wonderful about these tins. Right?
I will say, I want to buy that from my bar. I mean,
yeah. When I get done with a bottle, I take the top, I throw it in the topper bin, I throw the bottle away. But this goes up on the shelf because it reminds me of those bottles of yesteryear that you used to see come from Jim Beam and Wild Turkey, right? The ceramic, really beautiful decanters. I mean, still to this day, one of the coolest things I ever got as a gift was from my son, who went out to these, I don't know,
yard sales, flea
markets, and he found the old Jim Beam decanters and the Wild Turkey decanters for me. They don't have anything in them. Doesn't matter. It's just a cool piece of Americana history with our Americana juice. You know what I mean? So,
well, hats off to chicken cock marketing because I would buy it for the 10.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful
I'll just buy the 10 off you, Dan, and sit on my bar. There won't be a damn thing in there. But.
So bad. It just screwed me up because I went to reach underneath the counter to pull out a chicken cock, but I'm like, you got chicken cock right there.
Hey, we do your pitch now. We're good. We're good to go. So,
still not sponsored.
So, yeah, chicken cock. Hats off to you. I would say this is a tough one for us to recommend. Well, for these two to recommend, I would say that
I'd recommend this.
But I mean, in relationship to all the other ones out there, I'd say give it a shot. Mizunara is a very interesting wood, and it's a rare wood. So you don't see the Mizunara, if I'm saying it right or whatever. Mizunara cast. You don't see a ton of them out there. It's something to try. I would say don't expect it to be what others are. It is distinctly different.
Well, you got to work your way up. I think.
Yeah.
I think you try the regular whiskey. The rye, maybe the field ethos, or one of the 5
double
years
oak.
or 8 years that they have, a double oak. Go with this. Right now, save the red stay for last.
Well, and then that's void of Chanticleer. We may find out that
Chanticleer
that one is the kind of the. When does that one get in?
Same thing, about $199, I think.
No, when does yours get here?
Gotta go out and order it.
I thought you said you ordered it.
No, I ordered the field ethos, rye, private or small batch.
Why don't you order it?
It's not $199, I don't believe. I believe that thing.
That's a $399. That's a $300 one.
So let's talk about college football or something here. Huh?
Why? We're talking about chicken cock.
I think it's time, but it's amazing.
The minute that he gets asked to buy something, he's all about changing topics. Let's talk about.
I'll get to Decatur next month.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about college.
Number
football.
one. What was the number one thing that happened this past weekend here?
You got drunk and blew on some candles.
Well,
you blew hard.
You blew hard.
Well, it definitely wasn't. Never mind. But
be very careful, Gregory.
How about Vanderbilt and Alabama?
Yeah, boy.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores, anchors down, right? They did something that had never been done in their history of their program, which was they knocked off a top 10 team and the number 1 team. They'd never done it. So, and they did it at home, and they did it after Nick Saban kind of, went on air.
Kind of roasted them the week before.
Roasted them and said, one place you don't worry about losing at is Vanderbilt. We have more fans than they. And Vanderbilt, let me tell you something. Vanderbilt played them.
I think they took it personal.
Oh, they took it. Not only did they take it personal, but I watched that game from front to back. Vanderbilt is not the Vanderbilt that it usually is. I know that we say this about a lot of teams. These dudes played. They played fucking mean, man, and their quarterback. Their quarterback was an absolute freaking gamer. I mean, he balled out on them. And you can say what you want. I mean, if you play that game again 5 times, you're probably going to get 5 Alabama wins. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if you don't show up and execute in the SEC, especially.
It was their day.
It was their day. I mean, and it wasn't, and they weren't the only ones that had a bad day, but that was the worst for them because they got Bama didn't just lose; they got beat.
Will that be the worst loss this year?
I think that's.
I think so. That'll be the biggest upset this year.
The only loss that I think right now in recent memory that compares to that loss is the Appalachian State Michigan game.
Yeah,
when Appalachian State went into Michigan and won in the Big House, and there have been other bad losses. Listen, I mean, Notre Dame got whipped this year at home by an unranked team. I don't know who it was. It was Indiana. I don't even remember. But that's what I'm saying. Nobody is going to forget Appalachian State, Michigan, and then Vandy over number 1 ranked. I mean, Michigan wasn't ranked number 1 when that happened to them. But number 1 ranked Alabama walked in, got kicked in the dick. Just gotcha. And it was bad. It wasn't the only shocking game.
So I think the only difference is when Appalachian State beat Michigan, I think Appalachian State came off a previous year though of winning their conference. They won
the 2A national championship.
They were the national champions though still. So some credit to Appalachian State when they beat Michigan. They at least had a little bit of a resume coming to meet Michigan the following year.
Vandy has been just. I mean, I feel bad for Vanderbilt because number one, it's a high IQ school. You can't even for their athletes, it's a hard school to get into. It's just they're a very good school academically. And they have been the doormat of the SEC for so long, it's almost painful to watch. And the worst part is like James Franklin, who's a Penn State coach, he succeeded at Vanderbilt, but you just can't ever get to the next level with him.
So what's it mean for Georgia then? Georgia gets beat by Alabama.
It doesn't mean a whole lot because if you look at the SEC and you look at the Big Ten, if you look at college football landscape in its totality, you remember Saturday night you also saw Arkansas beat a Tennessee team, and you saw Washington knock off. Michigan State lost.
I don't think
not Michigan State. Michigan lost.
Michigan State's not. Yes, they went.
Michigan lost.
There were two lost teams now.
You saw a lot of teams struggle on the road or struggle in general, and the comment was made that maybe just maybe the NIL is evening that playing field.
Do we have a dominant college football team right now? You think?
I don't think we do.
Do you think Texas is that dominant team?
I don't think Texas has played anybody. It's like I asked you earlier. I sat on the patio, and I'm a huge Gator fan. I love my Gators. They're sitting at 3-2 right now. Their two losses were to a number 12 or so Miami and a Texas A&M that was unranked. Now, if you look at where Texas A&M is, Texas A&M looks vicious. They look mean. They manhandled whatchamacallit at home on Saturday. Whoever was ranked ahead of them. But they beat them like it was no problem, right? And Miami, they struggled, but they came back and won that game, and they're undefeated. But it's about perspective. If you look at Michigan is now 4-2 or 3-2. I don't know. I can't remember.
I believe 4-2.
So 4-2 because Florida had the bye week. Their two losses were worse than Florida's two losses. But the criticism is Florida is a disaster. Florida's a disaster. They're going nowhere. But yet, if you look at who the losses are to, then maybe you step back a little bit and go, okay, well, Florida has the toughest schedule in the entire nation.
This became the Florida talk show right now.
I'm contrasting this because Florida and Michigan are very, very similar in their strength of schedule and who they have to play and who they have to play left. Michigan still has Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, correct? I think you said Texas.
I can't remember if they play Texas or not.
Or Oregon.
Ohio State. So I think the game of the weekend right now is
Oregon. Ohio State. Yeah.
Oregon.
What I'm doing is I'm contrasting the difference of these strength of schedules. So do I think Texas has been tested? No. They still have to play Georgia. They've got to go to Michigan. They've got to play the rest of their SEC schedule, and that's a gauntlet. And the same holds true for Ohio State. They've got to play Oregon. They've got to play Michigan. They've got to play Penn State. Penn State's got to play Michigan. They've got to play Ohio State. I think they still have to play Oregon. Oh, and let's not forget in the Big Ten about all of a sudden Indiana, who looks like they did a fucking bag of crystal meth, a whole freaking tub of steroids, because they look stupid good. Indiana, bro.
So where's your money at? Ohio State, Oregon this weekend. Where's your money at, Jay?
Put my money on Oregon.
So this is going to shock the world.
Oregon's had a lot of points put up on them. I think in their previous games, they're pushing 60, 70 points. I don't think Oregon nor Ohio State's been tested yet, but I think Oregon's defense has a lot of points though. So I'm going to go Ohio State. So even though it's my team, but I'm still going.
I'm going to go Ohio State. And I hate Ohio State. Here's why. I just think that this is Oregon's coach's second year, right? Mario Cristobal left last year, went to Miami. Obviously, he's getting a roll in there. I want Ohio State to win because every loss that Oregon's head coach takes, he's a Florida alumni. There's a chance that he could be if they get rid of Billy Napier at Florida, that him and Lane Kiffin could be there available. Selfish.
Always goes back to Florida. Doesn't matter what the conversation. Florida.
Listen, God created the sun is orange and the sea is blue, baby. Orange.
Damn. So what's the bet? Oregon, Ohio State. How about $50?
I'm betting
straight up.
No.
Why not?
Oh, how about if you lose, you have to put on a peach-colored thong for our Patreon content, and you got to put on an aqua-colored thong.
No.
Bro.
This was a straight
See, I don't know enough about college football to bet. The only things I bet,
I'm trying to make a Diddy bet.
MLB. Oh man, you're getting us canceled.
He was just trying to think of who he's going to give some Rohypnol to or whatever you call it.
Exactly.
Got a big old tub of baby oil. I'm like, come on. No, I think Ohio State is in best position to beat Oregon because it's at Ohio State, correct?
I think it's at Oregon though.
Ooh, that's tough.
I believe, and we probably sound like horrible commentators.
No, I don't know.
I believe it's at Oregon.
I've got more important shit to deal with in life than sit there and look at where stuff's at in general. But I don't think that we're going to see anybody this year in the college football playoff without a defeat. I think that's going to be first.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, but look how many teams are left.
Well, I'm not knocking the SEC. I'm just saying the Big Ten inside the Big Ten, though, somebody might come out. What, Texas, Ohio State?
But who?
Look,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. You might.
Texas isn't in the Big Ten, dude. Texas is in the SEC.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Ohio State.
You only have Oregon, Ohio
State is still undefeated.
And Penn State. But all three of those teams have to play each other.
Correct, but somebody could come away undefeated right now.
Indiana.
So my best. I'm not putting Indiana up there. No offense to Indiana, but my best guess right now is that the Big Ten could walk away with somebody undefeated.
You really think they could?
Yeah.
That would be where I put my
money.
But
do you see anybody in the SEC? I don't. I think the SEC is so
Georgia's
strong.
lost. Alabama's lost.
I think Texas can do it.
I don't. I don't. Texas is the only
my
one
money's
left.
on Texas, or you come to the Big Ten. Those are the two right there. The two powerhouses that somebody might walk away undefeated though.
Do you think we could see a 3-loss team or 3 or 4-loss team in the playoffs?
With as many teams?
4 loss, no way.
Three losses, yeah. With as many teams as there have in the playoffs this year.
4 loss, no way. 3 loss, depending on who your losses are to. If you lost to big ranked powerhouses, or if you lost in your conference, that was a loss.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you.
If you're a 2-loss and lost in your conference by a couple points, maybe. I don't know. We've never seen a 12-team playoff.
Let me ask you this then. This is for the Michigan fans and for the Florida fans. Okay, both sides of the spectrum. Big Ten, SEC. If
Florida's not going to shit. I don't even know why you're bringing this shit up. Florida ain't going. Let's just drop it. Let's next subject, please.
Anyway, hold on.
Florida's not fucking going nowhere.
If Florida were to run the table and finish with 2 losses, and Michigan runs and finish with 2 losses,
dude, do you honestly really?
Oh no,
do you really believe that could happen?
No, I don't.
All right, then let's not even talk about it.
But Michigan could. Oh, do you not think Michigan could?
And I got a date next week with Natalie Portman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How much you pay her?
As much as Florida's going to have to pay the damn refs to get that far.
Bro, we got that deep pockets. Alabama's been doing it for years.
I would believe if you had a date with John Portman, but not Natalie Portman.
John Goodman.
I hate you guys.
I'm just saying, I think it's going to be an interesting year. And let's not forget about Pitt. Oh, hail Pitt. Right?
Oh, yeah.
They play next weekend. Who they? Who they play?
It's not Syracuse. It's
we're horrible.
I just looked at it.
Think they play away next weekend?
Let's look at some little ESPN.
Here's interesting with Pitt.
Who do they play?
So Pitt's in the ACC, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now the ACC doesn't look as good as they usually have. You've got Miami, who looks really good. Florida State is hot friggin' garbage, right? Clemson is like kind of in between there. North Carolina's fallen off. NC State's fallen off. Georgia Tech is competitive. Pitt really does look like they are the second best.
They play nobody this weekend.
So they have a bye.
They play California. When I say nobody, they play California.
But California, Cal U almost beat Miami. Miami had to come back and shouldn't have won that game.
College is a lot about that, though. There's a lot of times where you have those.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Those close games, though.
This could be the most interesting year, the inaugural year of the playoffs for college football. And who knows what it does? I mean, who knows what happens with the draft?
I think the best part is we get rid of this argument of who should be the fifth, who's number 4, who's number 3, though. And when you start to get into 12, 13, 14,
you got to play. You just got to play. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what effect it has on the draft too. And so here's
the thing: when it comes to playoffs, it really doesn't matter because all your starters are sitting out anyways because they're going to the draft and don't want to get injured.
I don't think they're going to.
I think they will.
That could happen.
Because it's happening year after year, and that's the thing that bothers me. Like, if you make it to a bowl game and you're sitting out because you're worried about, your draft stock and getting paid.
Right. If you get hurt, if you get hurt, I mean, you're out of the draft.
Thing is, you're getting NIL money and everything else. You're playing. Unless you're physically hurt, you're playing that bowl game. You're playing that playoff.
Do you think if you're getting NIL money, though, do you think if you have statistical odds of making millions of dollars in the NFL,
I think it sours and ruins the game. What's the point of going to a bowl game if you're not going to play your best and put the best up against the best?
I don't think we're going to see it this year, though, because the NIL, the way it's structured, and the whole, players getting played, who knows what's into these deals? Like, you get your check at the end of the season once you've played in all the games. We don't know how these things are structured. The other side of it is that the season has minused a game to add in the playoff games. So a lot of these kids, I think NFL teams are starting to look at the whole sitting out, and they're going, that's a character issue.
So, question for y'all, because I don't know. So, typically the college football season ended at what? End of November, into December.
First weekend in December.
A lot of times the Big Ten, they would be gone for 2 weeks while the SEC was still playing, though. So what happens now? Is the national championship still going to happen at the same time? How is this going to work now?
The top four get a bye. And then after that, you have home games in the next round. And then the final 2 rounds of it are played as bowl games and then the championship games. So you have essentially what happens is we get bonus football. We get football from basically December all the way until January 5th or 6th. Yeah. So they didn't shorten the season, but they added a game in there, and I think to a large degree what's happened is you've taken away that dead period. I think that's good, because a lot of times great teams that went into their bowl game and had a 30-day break, they look like dog shit. You can practice all you want, but if you're not in a good rhythm,
you're still not in the fight, though.
You're not in the fight. So it'll be interesting. It's one of the things I like about the NFL. Once you get into this December, your flow of your season is at your pinnacle, at your top, right? So
I think we could agree on this podcast. We would love to hear your comments about college football. Talk shit about Ohio State, Florida, whoever. Tell us what your thoughts are about this, though.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
love to hear.
I want to see what the effect's going to be on the NFL, because we talk about NFL and we look at some of the players today.
A lot of the players today are straight bitch made.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson showed that this weekend.
This dude,
he just straight up showed he's a bitch. Yeah. He's a whiny little bitch. And we're in Pittsburgh. Not a far drive, so take me on my word. You're a bitch and won't do shit. Because you walked off the field like a bitch.
So you were over here. We watched that game. And you watched that happen where Deshaun Watson on 4th down just kind of walked off the field, head up his own ass, negative attitude. Just an absolute jizz dumpster. That's what I thought. And I remember I said to you, I was like, how many quarterbacks does Cleveland have to ruin before they find a quarterback that they go, all right, maybe we should just stick it out with this dude. Dude, Cleveland and the Bears have got to be the 2 most back-assward organizations in all of the NFL.
Well, dude, when you come from Ohio, I come from Ohio. The only thing, we have college football. Coming from Ohio, everybody asks me, are you a Browns or Cincinnati fan? I'm like, oh shit, I'm both. Dear God, could be a fair weather. I mean, I just want Ohio to win. Never won a Super Bowl ever. Want something to happen in Ohio.
So bad. You had Baker Mayfield, who was all in on Cleveland, all about the city of Cleveland.
He cared. They took him to a
playoff. And he was all about going in and putting in the work.
Sent Roethlisberger,
and he was a good personality
across the state line to the Steelers.
He was a good
personality.
Why you got to bring up that? We ain't talking about Pittsburgh, bro. We're talking about your broke bitch-ass state Ohio.
Miami, Ohio sent him across the state line.
And he won Super Bowls.
I know. What is wrong with Ohio when it comes to the NFL?
Don't be trying to bring up some old stuff.
I'm just asking.
But here's the thing. Cleveland, their GM, Their whole front office needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Fuck firing a quarterback and a head coach. Fire that front office. If you're the owner of Cleveland, you got to fire your GM in that front office.
Yeah.
Because you pissed away all that money on a trash-ass quarterback that's going to act like a baby-back bitch. I'm sorry.
Who?
You knew his reputation.
Yeah.
You knew how he was.
You
when he took
alienated
that-
your own fans. You insulted women across the NFL, especially Cleveland women fans that were just absolutely
Appalled?
They were
Yeah.
appalled, and they had every right to.
Let me ask y'all a question. 45 years old. In my lifetime, do I see an Ohio
Fuck no, you
team
don't.
win the Super Bowl?
No.
No. It's because they can't fucking do it right.
Yeah, because the people that own the club are relatively same in our age group.
It's like the owners of the Cleveland Browns. I think it might be Nutting. Nutting
Yeah.
might own the Cleveland Browns, and we just don't
We
know
just
it
don't know.
because
Yeah.
they run that fucking program into the fucking ground.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. If he's not Nutting, if Nutting doesn't own the Cleveland Browns, a shadow owner, well, he must bang Nutting, because these two idiots, Nutting with the Pirates and whoever owns the freaking Cleveland fuck ups or Browns, are absolute ding. This is what I don't understand. I just, it's hard for me to understand this, because you don't even look at Cincinnati. They've got a great roster. And they don't make good decisions either. But Cleveland and Chicago continue to just baffle me.
You know what? You all make me emotional. We talk about me spending money, change topic. We all talk about Ohio. Time to change topic again here.
We're not changing topic.
As we get to the end of the podcast here, we were talking about movies earlier, though. Were we not, though? What were we
We're
talking
not-
about earlier?
hold up.
No,
We're not-
can't
we
talk
are
about
not
Ohio anymore.
done.
No, I'm
We're-
tired of hearing about Ohio and how much we suck in the NFL.
Is he mad?
He's mad.
Is he big mad?
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
mad. He's
I'm hurt.
He's starting to act like Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
We're going to start calling you Deshaun.
We heard how he thought about Deshaun Watson.
You baby back bitch, settle down.
No, I still got
It'll be
that.
okay.
I mean, honestly,
It's like I'm not important to finish.
that was the biggest bitch shit I ever
was.
seen. And the way he walked off and all
Yeah.
just like, dude, you're getting paid millions. You need to step the fuck up and ball out. Like, stop being a bitch.
It was so disrespect. It wasn't necessarily that there was miscommunication, but everybody that watched it, and you and I watched it, it was just the attitude. It was the whole. Every time he went to the sideline, it was like, oh, and meanwhile, you know, you have quarterbacks that are trying to be positive. I watched the Redskins. And I was just amazed by, what's his name, their quarterback, Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, Daniels is.
The kid was on the sideline. You know, he's upbeat. He's trying to learn. You know, I saw this thing today where Chicago was talking to, you know, they compared Jalen Daniels and Caleb Williams, and the Bears fans are trashing, you know, the Redskins quarterback. Bro, check the record, Bears.
Let me ask you a football question.
Like,
I want to interrupt you, Jay.
Caleb is a diva. And he's gotten lucky. They played weak teams. The Commanders have gone out and played hard teams.
Oh, Commanders are balling
Yeah.
out.
So, football question for you all, youth sports here. My son is 11 years old, plays here locally. So, last year, they got crushed by this team. I mean, crushed. This year, 6-7-0.
What team was it? Lebo?
I can't remember. So this year, this is what astonishes me this year is we've played two teams this year, get to the half, we're up 24-0. They have literally, no lie, on the field, arguing between coaches, other team wants to quit. Quit. We are done.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that message.
No, yeah. What does that teach? Do I think that in youth sports you should run the score up? You know,
No.
There's some things where the score is added up.
Once the score gets crazy, you put in your second, third string.
Correct. But do you walk off a field? What do you teach your kids when you say
To quit?
quit?
No, you teach them to quit. Like
So,
that's the
you know-
thing. There's too many people that are just
You don't
bitch made.
quit.
So you don't quit. You don't give up. You fight,
let me ask
even
you-
if you only put up 3 points.
So if the other team's an asshole and keeps running up score, do you quit?
no,
No,
you
correct.
should get more pissed off and fight harder to get some
And
points on
I
that
was
board.
astonished that they were actually wanting to quit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I don't
what
get
do
that.
you mean
Now,
you quit?
now,
We do not
now listen,
quit.
there's some responsibility here, right? So you saw this last year with Oliver when he played football. You know, if you're the team that's winning big time, that is the time you pull out your kids, your starters, or you move your team around and give the kids different experience at different positions.
Yes.
Okay, that's an obligation for teaching the game in its totality to children. And it is also the time as the other coach will use it as a massive learning opportunity on how to compete and how to persevere and how to take a loss. There's this myth out there that losing is the worst thing in the world. Losing teaches you so much about your character and about your strengths and about what you can do to get better. So I didn't like it last year when because there's so much nepotism in kids sports, but especially where we are with kids football, it's just this weird West Pennsylvania mentality that they think, I don't know. I'm from Florida where we benched Emmitt Smith's kid. So,
it's one of those things. You lose, you get cut, whatever the situation is.
That's a part of life.
It's a part of life.
Yeah.
You use it as fire to go ahead, grind, and get better for the next year.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, I didn't get that much playing time last year. I'm going to put some extra work in the gym.
I'm going to work out. I'm going to watch film. I'm going to make myself better. I don't understand this entire generation or two generations of kids that think that it's okay to just be mediocre and they deserve shit. Fuck you.
Well, I
don't get it.
I always think that what always amazed me being in the military is that a lot of time, the true test of your character, or sometimes we say one of the characteristics of the true test of your character is not when things are going right.
When they're going wrong.
It's when shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
How do you react when things are going wrong? It's easy to
win.
sit here when things are going right.
Yeah.
When things go wrong, how do you respond? How do you react though when everything's going crazy? Just like my daughter this morning. Oh, God. Mom threw away her homework assignment. She lost her shit this morning, though. I'm like, stop. That's not how we react. You're doing nothing for it. We were dumpster diving, going to find this page of homework, but she was crying, bawling, snot. I'm like, stop. This does nothing to fix the problem here.
I guess I go back to this idea that that we're just quit, and I know that 99% of the people in the world won't have the experiences that we've had collectively, especially in a combat situation where our lives are on the line. Do you quit in a firefight?
Oh no, I might stop to drink a Red Bull or
have a chew or something.
Yeah.
But apples and oranges, though. But I mean, if it's death,
it's not, because the lessons that we teach these children are lessons they carry with them through life, and we have seen that. You cannot just quit. Are you just when
there's
your boss?
There's a whole entire difference between finishing that Mountain Dew shit you poured me last week and say I quit. That was horrible.
Yeah, that's one of those things you quit for sure.
Life or death.
I'm just saying. Listen, when you are a coach, your job is to lead young men or women and teach them not just the game, but the values that are associated with it. Right? You look when a kid gets hurt. Remember, there's a difference between being hurt and injured.
Yeah.
Right? Are you hurt or are you injured? If you're just hurt, get up and go back in there and suck it up. Why is that important? Because too many people confuse being hurt with being injured. Right?
Well, I agree with that. As a coach, it's easy to lead a team. It's easy
when you're winning.
When you're winning.
Yeah.
When they are at their lowest point, to get them to rally back and say, let's go out there. When we know there's no chance we're going to win this. But
that's when a coach is the most important thing in the world. Is
to rally the troops.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
So last thing I got to ask before, we're into October. It's your birth month, my birth month.
Sober October, you can see we're participating in Sober October.
Is that really a thing, Sober October?
For bitches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't do
I'm sorry. I don't know. Grown ass. October. If you're a grown ass man and you're participating in Sober October,
why don't you
go to a Ditty party?
Let me ask you a question. Isn't November a mustache or what is the?
It's Movember.
It's no mustache March, and it's
no shave November.
November. No shave November. It's your mustache.
Are we doing no shave November?
When you look like a bunch of sexual...
I got to go to Aruba.
We wear beards. Sorry that you can't grow facial hair. You look forward for that November.
No, I'm not allowed to grow facial
You can grow a mustache.
I can't. Oh, you do it. Y'all shave and we do it together.
I will straight grow. It'll look like an orgy of caterpillars coming down.
We see what his mustache looks like.
That shit was dope. That shit was straight dope. Dude, that was dope.
Chris Hansen wanted a primetime spot with you when he saw that mustache.
I don't care. That shit was live. Anyway, I gotta ask. Okay, I want the two the horror film that impacted you the most?
Use me last because I got a story.
You.
Probably last week.
Not walking in on me and your mom.
I was like, bro, probably that's how your mother. So it's like,
I gotcha, bitch.
God. How long are we going to run this podcast tonight here?
Sorry.
For me as a kid, Howling. Howling was the number one.
Howling.
Howling. You don't know Howling?
No.
Dan?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Really?
You're a
I
little
don't
younger
do
than
horror
us.
movies.
Yours.
Werewolf.
Yours, because I got two.
Friday the 13th.
Okay.
No. Yeah, because of Crystal Lake. And Crystal Lake is actually was very close to where I grew up.
So I was like 5 or 6 years old when I seen my first Freddy Krueger movie. It scared the living shit out of me.
Oh, really? So both of you are Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger. And then when I got older, the classic It, not the remake, but the classic It when I was like 14, 15, scared the shit out of me.
Let me ask you all a question.
Nah.
Does it scare you to go into a dark room and say Hail Mary? Was it 3 or 7
No.
times?
It's Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
No, but
It doesn't bother me to say Beetlejuice,
Didn't bo-
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice? Well, here's the kicker. We were over in Germany. I just did a year in Iraq, did a year in Central America, a little bit of PTSD. Don't like being startled. Don't like fucking scary movies. Had this woman spending the night, and we had to watch Annabelle.
Are you sure it was a woman, Dan?
Dude, why do you guys gotta bust my balls every fucking time?
It was a woman. It was a woman.
On the episode 55, was it a woman?
I hate you guys.
Anyways, continue on.
So
Annabelle, this girl, boy.
Yeah. I can't. I can't with either one of you bunch of fucking
It's all right.
checkouts.
Go ahead. I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry.
Annabelle
Don't interrupt him again.
So, anyways, the way the house was set up, there's a bedroom here, bathroom here. So we're in this back bedroom. I had to wake up like 3 a.m. to take a piss. She thought it was funny to go in the next bedroom and jump out and try to scare me when I came back from the bathroom. I knocked her smooth the fuck out. I thought I killed her. I was fucking horrified because it was one of our troops. So I was
Great
like, oh,
leadership
shit.
here.
Yeah.
God. We're going to edit that shit out. God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I was like, oh, shit, how's she going to explain this black eye?
Jesus Christ.
God.
No,
She
Howling,
realized she fucked up real quick, though.
as a kid, Howling was scary as shit to me. Underworld,
Underworld?
No, Underworld later. I was going to say that was a whole different ball game. What was her name?
Kate Beckinsale. Nobody was scared of that.
God,
we all
no.
walked around with boners. What are
Yes.
you talking about?
No, I was going to say Howling, scared of. That was like a good soft porn to me. Was with Kate Beckinsale.
I wouldn't take it that
man.
far. What the hell's wrong with
You're a
you?
degenerate.
Hey guys, listen. Before we wrap up, for the bottom of our hearts, we want to continue to send our thoughts and prayers out to the victims of Hurricane Helene, and to our
Milton.
people. Huh?
Now you got Hurricane Milton coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
To
Second
our
one.
people in Florida, please, we ask seriously, get out of the way of this storm. Go north, go south. But if you're in that path, don't fuck around and find out, please. This is not where to do it. I'm a Florida boy, born and raised. I've got family in Tampa. I've got family in Gainesville, and I'm terrified for my friends and extended family down there. Those in Jacksonville and in Gainesville and Daytona, and I mean just all the way down. This thing's going to cut across the state. And it's going to cause havoc, and you can replace a house, you can replace a car, you can even replace a whiskey collection. Although that would be tragic, but you can't replace life, and we don't want anybody to suffer. So please get out of the way of the storm. For everybody else, though, that does tune in, please consider giving the Red Cross or Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse is doing some great things in North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee right now. They actually have an Air Corps division where they have their own helicopters and they're flying and stuff. We're really watching the best of humanity happen. Helping these communities, and it's the good in us as Americans and as human beings. So please keep your people that are in Florida in your thoughts and prayers, and those in North Carolina and to Tennessee and those areas in your thoughts and prayers. And we're going to raise a glass to you guys because you guys are out there kicking ass, and we hope and pray for the best of you. And like we say, until next time,
Here's to y'all. Stay safe.
here's to you guys. Stay thirsty, my friends.
So what's the whole point of the Liberty Pool bottle being out?
I'm going to pour one right now.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, you can go turn it off now.
Oh.
Time to drink.
Oh, I thought you were going to let them know where little
That was in case we got thirsty.
Yeah. That's news to come. Cheers.
you know.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast of Bullits and Bourbon. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.